What is the difference between this current tax regime and this new tax regimes?
So the old tax regime, you have all the exemptions and deductions, like exemption under ATC if you make a payment towards LIC.
What are the pros and cons for this new tax regime?
Pros is it is a very simpler tax regime. A lay person can file their income tax return without much headache. The disadvantage of the new income tax regime is
So can people switch back and forth to old and new tax regimes?
the switch is restricted.
On a whole, what you have to convey to our audience?
The audience or whoever is listening to this to not get confused. If they get confused, sit with a tax professional, identify what is their income, what are the exemption and deduction they are claiming.
So tell us, sir, what's all about this new tax regime?
So this new tax regime is the default tax regime now, where the government has reduced the tax rates. It has given that from 0 to 3 there will be no tax. Between 3 to 6, 5%, and 6 to 9 it is 10%, 9 to 12, 15%, 12 to 15 it is 20%, and above 15% it is 30% tax rates. Moreover, the government has done away with any exemption and deduction, and only standard deduction of 50,000 is given under the new tax regime to make it more attractive. To bring into the fact that the new tax regime was brought in the year 2020, but it was not attractive. During this union budget, the government made it more attractive by lowering the tax rates.
What is the difference between this current tax regime and this new tax regimes?
So the old tax regime, you have all the exemptions and deductions, like exemption under ATC if you make a payment towards LIC or make a home loan repayment, or if you pay house rent, you get the exemptions and deductions, right? These exemptions and deductions are not allowed under the new tax regime. So the government has made it very simple, and only a standard deductions of rupees 50,000 is allowed under the new tax regime. You can choose either the new tax regime or the old tax regime as per your choice, but this has to be decided during the financial year before filing the income tax return.
That's nice, sir. So what are the pros and cons for this new tax regime?
Let me start with the pros. The pros is it is a very simpler tax regime. A lay person can file their income tax return without much headache. He need not understand the income tax law. He just need to understand what it is salary income, deduct 50,000 standard deduction, which is auto calculated, and pay the government whatever the tax is. So that is the major advantage under the new income tax regime. The disadvantage of the new income tax regime is it doesn't incentivize to make investment in PPF, in EPF, or children's education. Means the financial discipline is not, there is no motivation to make financial investment decisions in the new tax regime. So that is a major con, I believe.
So can people switch back and forth to old and new tax regimes?
Yes. If you have only the salary as a source of income and not having income from business gain, profit and gains from business or profession, then you can switch back and forth in each financial year. But if you have profit and gains from business or profession, the switch is restricted. You can just switch back once, but you can't switch it, go back to the new scheme again.
So, as a layman, what I have to choose between these two tax regimes?
Okay, good question. So as a layman, many people will have questions, which option to choose. So my answer would be that if you have an exemption or deduction of 4.5 lakh rupees, then it is better to go for the old tax regime. But if you don't have any home rent payment, or you're not making housing loan repayment, or you're not interested in making LIC payment, and your deduction and exemption is less than 4.5 lakh rupees, it is better to switch to the new tax regime. So simply put, if your exemption and deduction is less than 4.5 lakh rupees, go for the new scheme. If it is more, go for the old scheme.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Because of this discussion, we have so much clarity now. So I hope even our audience get that clarity. So on a whole, what you have to convey to our audience regarding this tax regime?
I just want the audience or whoever is listening to this video to not get confused. If they get confused, sit with a tax professional, identify what is their income, what are the exemption and deduction they are claiming, and if their exemption and deductions are more than 4.5 lakh, go for the old tax regime, and if it is less than that, switch to the new tax regime and pay the tax. As simple as that. And and not to worry much, pay tax and worry less.
That's great, sir. So viewers, I hope you got your clarity regarding this old and new tax regime. I will get back to you with another interesting topic. Until then, stay tuned.
For more informative videos like this, do subscribe to my channel.